We are now in aspect 2 of Desjardins chapter 4 of Introduction of Business Ethics on the topic of toxic culture in business. This time around, we're discussing ethical corporate culture, why it is good for business, and why it is moral on Kantian, utilitarian, and virtue ethics frameworks. What then is ethical corporate culture? It is a culture in which members act in morally responsible ways. That is to say, they treat persons as ends in themselves, increase well-being and happiness for all persons, and practice virtues such as honesty, courage, loyalty, moderation, etc. In other words, in an ethical culture, employees act in ethical ways, Kantian, utilitarian, and virtue ethics way. Here's the important point. They do so all on their own, even without law or authority prodding them on to do so. Employees act ethically due to shared values and beliefs that encourage that kind of morally responsible behavior. In other words, there is a culture of acting in a morally responsible fashion, and hence employees will be ethical agents in the business, and the business itself will be ethical to that extent. Why ethical corporate culture is good for business? Employees in an ethical culture can be counted on to treat well clients, their colleagues, and to be loyal to the firm and the service that it provides. The underlying assumption is that a successful business provides a needed and beneficial service to the clients, for which clients compensate the firm and its employees and shareholders. That is the win-win business model. It is the opposite of the toxic culture model, to take advantage of clients by providing them with services that do not benefit them and rip them off. Why should we say that ethical corporate culture is moral? Well, it treats persons as ends in themselves on the Kantian model. It maximizes well-being for many persons on the utilitarian model. And it promotes virtues needed for a good and meaningful life. Courage, moderation, practical judgment, trust and trustworthiness, honesty. These are all virtues and character traits that happy people have, insofar as they need to relate to others and just insofar as having integrity.